we have been learning a lot about the alphabet lately. Do you find that as we learn more about the alphabet, you think of more questions about the English language?
Yes.
Somebody raise your hand and tell me where you think our language started. Jaden, where do you think it started?
A.
Where did the language come from, though? Do you have any ideas?
No.
Mia, do you have any ideas? Where do you think the language started?
Alphabet or the Greeks.
Okay, that's where we get the name of our alphabet.
Alpha.
What do you think, Isaac?
God.
You think God gave us our language? Rhythm, what do you think? You don't know? Chloe, what do you think? Do not say something someone has already said, guys. This video is already going to be too long if you do that. Gabriel, do you have something different you want to add?
The Romans.
You think it came from the Romans? That's where our alphabet comes from. Do you have any questions about the English language that you would like to ask? Mia?
Why do we have to have English language?
Why do we have to have the English language? Why do you think?
So people can understand us?
Yeah, so maybe we can communicate.
Or we didn't have mouths. I can't think of anything else.
Okay, Chloe, do you have a question about the English language?
They're difficult, but why are they?
Why are what difficult?
Our English words. Sometimes.
Why are the English words sometimes difficult? Some of that comes from the fact that we take words from a bunch of other different languages, so they don't always fit our rules that we have for English. Brianna, do you have a question?
You can learn by English.
Is that a question or a statement? I need questions right now. Dylan, do you have a question about the English language? Make sure you know what you're going to say when you raise your hand. Tate, do you have a question about the English language?
How do they have so many languages?
Ooh, that's a very good question. How are there so many different languages? Well, when way back, there were people just like now living in a bunch of different places in the world, but they didn't have roads to drive on or airplanes or trains to get to one another. So they had to make their own languages so they could understand each other. So the people living in China had their own language so they could understand. The people living in Egypt had their own language so they could understand because they weren't talking to each other. They were talking to just the people in their little area. Let's learn a little bit about our language. Our language has an exciting history. It took many years for our language to develop into the way it sounds today. Throughout those years, there were many events that caused our language to change. Actually, our language started from many different languages that were eventually mixed together and called English. Like I was saying how we have words from all different languages, we mixed them all together. 2,000 years ago, however, there was no language called English. Did you guys know that? There was a time when English wasn't a thing.
No.
It hasn't always
I
been.
did not know that.
I was in church once and they all said the same thing and they all had one language and they built a tower trying to go up to heaven. And God made the languages different.
Yeah.
Neat.
In fact, the island in the North Sea that we now know as England was called Britannia at that time. So, I'm going to show you guys where England is. We're going to zoom in right about here. This is Europe. England is this pink island right here. It's not actually pink. This is just the way we look at it on a map so we can tell where it is. So this island right here is England. It used to be called Britannia. A tribe of people who were called the Celts lived in Britannia. The Celts were not very advanced. They had no government, and there were just a few towns. Most Celts lived in small groups where they farmed and hunted. There were no roads on the island. The Celts lived a very simple life. Very soon, we're going to find out more about the Celts. Do you remember the name of the island on which the Celts lived? Now it's England, but back then it was... Do you remember, Rhythm?
I remember that.
You can't say it. Gabriel, do you remember what that island used to be called?
No, but I was going to ask it.
Right now I'm asking you a question. Do you remember what that island used to be called? No. Do you remember, Mia?
Calabia.
No. Britannia. Everybody say that with me. Britannia. Very good. What were the people called who lived in Britannia? What was the name of the tribe? The Celts. Very good. So you might ask your mom and dad tonight if they know anything special about the Celts, so you can tell us tomorrow during phonics. All right, let's learn a new sound. Everybody, echo these words and listen to the sound in the medial position. Where is medial going to be?
Middle.
Middle, very good. All right, listen to the sound in the middle. Torn.
Torn.
Sort.
Sort.
Pork.
Pork.
What sound do you hear?
Or.
Or, very good. Let's look at these words. Oh no.
It's on that.
What do you think is making the or sound?
O-R.
Very good. O-R is another combination. What is a combination?
Two letters put together
to make
different sound.
An unexpected sound. Different. Very good. Two letters that come together to make an unexpected sound. How do we code combinations?
An R.
With arcs. Very good. So let's do that. R, O-R, O-R. Is there anything else we need to do to code those words?
No.
No. Are these words accented?
No.
Yes. Every word is accented. We just don't always write the accent on one-syllable words. Let me see. Can somebody raise your hand? Read this word for me. Maya, what is that word?
Torque.
It's what?
Torn.
Torn. Can you use that in a sentence?
I torn up the furniture.
You tore up the furniture, okay?
Oh my
The
goodness.
furniture was torn up. This word, Tate. Read the word first. No, look at it. It's not snort, it's sort. So can you use that in a sentence now?
I sort out my book. I sort out my books.
He sorted out his books. Very good. Last word on here. Jaden, what is that word?
Pork.
Pork. Can you use that in a sentence?
I porked my steak.
Do what?
I porked my steak.
I porked my steak. What is pork?
Like pig. Pig, pork.
Yeah, it's
Meat.
a kind of meat that is made from pig. So you could say my steak was made of pork. Maybe you could have pork steak. Does that sound good?
Okay.
That actually sounds really good. I'm hungry right now.
Come on.
Or you could say that bacon is made out of pork.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have a new picture card for you guys. I want to see if you can guess what it's going to be. This is an animal that lives... It's what?
Horse.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even have to do the riddle. Very good.
I know it from first grade.
So our card is going to be a horse. That is all that we have for today's lesson. So I will see you guys at the table.
Yay.